We're live.
And we're in the same room.
We are.
We're sitting next to each other. Look, I could touch her.
This is weird.
This is really weird.
This is so cool though.
Yes.
It's weird in a cool way.
Yes.
I've got my phone ready so that I can chat and contribute to things. Because I can't be on the other end of things this time. Like I can't be, responding to comments and such.
No. And don't mind the dogs in the background.
Oh.
So welcome in to Whiskey and Lipstick. Dog, please stop. You are not a lady.
We put lipstick on the dogs.
Put lipstick on the dogs. We are doing a special Saturday edition tonight because Theresa's in Texas.
I am.
And last time she was in Texas in November, we were stupid and didn't do a live stream.
That's true. There were too many other things.
Too many things going on.
There were brand new puppies and
the new puppies. They were not like this.
They were very new.
They're tiny. So Theresa's here, and we have had a long day. So we're kind of like,
we went to Iron Root.
We
finally made it.
We spent the afternoon in Iron Root. We kind of jumped into a little bourbon women's thing going on that they had there.
They are very cool people. The bourbon women.
Very cool people. And Mama Marcia brought us on back to the barrel room when we got there, because that's where they were, and we got to have some barrel pours. Several different barrel pours. So that was really fun. So we've been kind of scrambling since we got home, because that's just an hour and a half drive from Iron Root to here. So yeah, don't mind this mess. I put my lipstick on.
I put my lipstick on too.
I'm ready to drink some more whiskey.
I'm down for that.
Yeah. So tonight we are going to, I say we, I mean me. I am going to see if I can stump the Somm. The Stump the Somm.
Yes.
Theresa is going down to Austin tomorrow to take the level 4 whiskey sommelier class and exams. So this is going to be just a little bit of practice of, kind of get her going, and things that I have in my house that she probably maybe doesn't have in hers. So what are we looking for here today?
Well, in terms of the study portion, part of what I need to be able to do is identify, basic grain composition. So, the basic style of the whiskey, a little bit of regional type things that way as well. And then what else? That's basically, like grain style.
See if you can get this grain. See if you can get this style. And, if you're really good, can you guess what it is?
Oh, goodness.
Can you guess what it is?
The muscle memory. Okay.
So don't mind me if I do end up muting it every so often. I am getting over a cough. It's better than it was. So I don't want to do that in your ear if I can try and avoid it. But I have poured 6 different whiskeys.
Okay.
And they are here. They are labeled. And they are ready to go.
Yeah. One.
They're not fancy because, like I said, we're kind of on a time crunch. Yeah. But it is what it is.
They're fancy as they need to be.
Fancy as they need to be.
Fancy as they need to be.
Theresa is going to sift through these. She's going to talk through them. She's going to, tell us what she finds, all of that. And she is going to take her own notes. She does have her own notepad here. So she is going to utilize that as much as she possibly can to help her along her way. I am not going to be drinking anything that Theresa is drinking. I am going to just be drinking things that I find behind me that are easily accessible for me, because My mic didn't mute because I have it set up wrong, and I'm doing that right now. Thank you, William. I don't want to give away anything by drinking what she's potentially drinking. So I'm just going to grab some things from behind me. And right now I'm drinking my Bushmills Prohibition because I just got a brand new bottle of it. And I'm really excited to be able to drink this.
Finish it off.
Yeah.
Make it rain tonight?
I don't know. Have you had this one?
I don't know.
You might be able to help us make it rain later then. So Theresa, go ahead and get on the ball there.
Going in. So
going in.
We're looking at some pretty dark liquid here to begin with. It's clear, but let's see. So, I mean, just based off of that, I would say that we're probably somewhere in North America. Either that or it's Delmore. But I don't know that this is Delmore. So there's a lot of different things that you can get, even just from the appearance of a whiskey. Sometimes that'll give you a bit of a clue to the proof, just because you'll see how it clings to the glass, the legs. So thicker legs often mean a higher proof. Not always. Sometimes that will also be a situation with age. If it's naturally lost its proof over time in Scotland, that sort of thing. Sitting in the barrel. If it hasn't been watered down at the end, sometimes you'll get a heavier, more leggy thing. So this one's actually pretty clingy. So let's.
William, did that mute? Because I muted it on the computer. Did that mute? Hope so. So we got dark. We've got clingy. I got a thumbs up from William.
You muted when you needed to mute. So a little bit of vanilla.
Some of these, I don't know that you've had all of these.
Okay.
So I'm very interested because I mean I know what I poured. I have it right here. I was feverishly writing things down as I'm pouring them, capping them, and getting them ready to go when my dogs are running crazy outside with Theresa, and it's been a mess, guys, but we're here. I'm curious to see what you do think about some of these that I know you haven't had. Oh my God. We're having some technical dog difficulties because they can't seem to leave the cats alone. And when the cats are in the vicinity, they like to bark at them. So that's what they're doing.
That is what they're doing.
So Theresa, did you show your wheel there?
I did a little bit. I'll flash it up here again in just a moment.
So a lot of people use a flavor wheel. A lot of people just write down their notes of what they're finding. But I do find that a flavor wheel, especially if it's something that you've never had before, helps draw you to, okay, I find this floral note, and then it breaks off and gives you some ideas of what that floral note could be. Mm-hmm. And it
good to
helps
you
kind of lead you down the path of what you might not be able to trigger in your own head.
Mm-hmm. There's definitely something to be said for having the words in front of you, because it is hard to sometimes articulate. So having a tasting sheet, having a tasting wheel, it's one of those things. If you're trying to improve your tasting, because I get people, I don't know about you, Sarah, but I know I get people who often talk about, I could never get all of these notes that you talk about. How do you get all these notes? Or I'm no good at it because all I can taste is whether I like it or not. And you know what? That's fine. You don't have to go in any deeper. Right. But if you want to, having something in front of you as a prompt to say, okay, I know I'm getting sweet. Okay, what kind of sweet is it?
Sweet?
I'm getting something kind of tannic. Well, what does that? What is that? Like, can you narrow it down a little bit? So
It really helps, especially if you are just
Mhm.
starting out and getting into trying to find these different things in a whiskey. I gotta smell it because
okay, yeah. That's actually coming through a little bit more. I'm gonna just mumble to myself now for a few seconds, and I'm definitely with some of the notes I was getting. Part of me was thinking it could be a rye, but I'm feeling like this is actually more likely a bourbon that is a high rye bourbon. Um, and one of the other things that I like to do is I don't care about agitating. I get it to coat the glass really, really well. Part of what that's going to do is let the whiskey evaporate a little bit, and you get more of those aromas diffusing.
It wakens it up.
It does, and you get a little on your hands, you shake it out.
I like to take that and give it a slap, and it kind of if you've ever had a
spanking.
A spanking, she says. No, if you have a mint leaf from like your garden and you take it and you smack it, that's where you get the aroma of the mint from, is when you actually smack it. Yeah. So when you do that with the your hands, it actually helps to kind of open that up. Yeah. So just a few little tricks.
So it does, as I'm sipping it, it does have a crispness to it. It's not what I would say really sharp and aggressive, but it's definitely got a little bit of proof on it. It's got this, definitely got a virgin barrel cask flavor to it. Very smoky, almost mesquite-y, but not quite that. I don't know. That doesn't quite have that spice to it, but. So I'm going to guess that it's probably a high rye bourbon. Part of me wants to say possibly bottled in bond, but probably in that 48 to 52 ABV. So if I was forced to try and guess a pour, I don't know if I could. Part of me, Woodford popped into my head, but I think that's quite right. Then there's a part of me that's like, this kind of tastes like what we were drinking this afternoon. So it could also be an iron
palate fatigue, but we have drank water. We've eaten. We've done some things in between all of that yummy iron root, barrel strength iron roots that we got to enjoy this afternoon. We did, we kind of tried to clear our palates up a little bit. What you look for?
Actually, I was just thinking I probably should have had a thingy of just straight water for doing droppies. That's gin.
That's gin.
I could add gin to it with that. Look at that. This is what friends are for.
Pipettes.
Pipettes. All right.
We have several pipettes back here. William is the king of adding the water. So,
okay, yeah, that's definitely, I'm tasting corn more now that I've added the water to it. So I'm locking in as I still think it's probably a high rye bourbon of some sort. Okay, all right.
We'll wait till the end.
We'll wait till you meanie. Oh my goodness. Okay, fine.
So I like to go through, write some notes, and then come back one more time for a final of, okay, is this still what I'm getting? Okay. Because, you might go on to the next one and be like, oh, wait.
That's true.
Something sticks out a little bit to this one than it does to that one. So wait a minute.
That is true. Comparative tasting,
it's a big thing.
It is.
I mean, it's kind of important.
All right. Then I will leave that and we will move on to number 2. Number 2 also seems fairly dark on the palette. Not quite as dark as that one was, but still good. Oh, one I just caught a whiff of dill, so this one I'm leaning to being a rye, but we'll see.
Leaning to be a rye.
Well, first instinct is a rye. It's lighter legs, so probably a lower proof, possibly younger. Now I'm second guessing that. No, I'm getting something really herbal on that. It almost smells like pumpernickel.
William says I haven't guessed what number 1 is.
So I must be really good at describing then. If that, hopefully that's a good sign.
And I mean, you haven't gotten a chance to look to see everything that's in the house. So some of these are what you would call a double blind,
right?
Because you're not familiar with everything that's. I mean, I did go back in the office. Mm-hmm. You don't know what all's back there. You only know what you can see.
Well, and even then, I can only just see so far. There's layers upon layers upon layers.
Right. So, it's truly a lot of this is a what we call a double blind. Stop. Really. Stop. Leave the cat alone. He wants nothing to do with you. William, you, sir, are wrong.
Oh, he's making guesses to you, hey?
Yes. Well, he said I have a guess as to what number 1 was, so I texted him. I was just curious to see if he actually got it right.
Ooh, that's got some pucker power on it.
Pucker power.
Not so much from a. I mean, it's sour. There's some underlying sweetness, but it's more of a. Like that dry leather kind of a pucker power. Like it's definitely, again, it's those barrel tannins that are really coming through, and they present to me like leather. That's one of my favorite memories, actually, is growing up. My dad used to do a little bit of leather work, and so I got to do a few things, and it was just, I loved, even though when he wasn't actively doing the leather work, I always knew where the leather was, and
that smell.
Yeah, there's just something visceral about it, and that's really where this is kind of coming for me. It's leaning into that. There's also a little bit of a, kind of adjacent to that is that tobacco, those tobacco flavors. Not that
I get a lot of like with that leather, I tend to get a lot of the ash type of flavors or smells, like almost like the ashtray that has been kind of sitting there for a little bit.
And I don't know whether it's just because you said it, but as you were saying that, I'm getting a bit of an ashy on the top palate.
Taste is suggestive.
You're psychosomatic, and still gonna say I'm pretty sure that's some new wood. It's the wood itself is moderate. It's more leathery. Wait, got wood?
Yes.
There you go.
Is that a barrel stave in your pocket? Or? I always like sitting with somebody that I haven't necessarily sat with before to hear how they walk through their tasting notes. Like I sit with William all the time. I know how he goes through his tasting notes and whatnot. I know how that works for him and his step by step. I like seeing how others put theirs together. So water, we put water in.
Yeah.
What happened?
So I like looking at it when I put the water in because there
Seeing
are
the
oils.
oils.
Yes, I love to look and see if you can actually see those oils separating because and it's really cool if you've never done it. And I'm not talking about splashing, like literally you're dropping just a little bit in. And it's the best analogy that I've heard is it's like a stone that has been sitting in the river and it's smooth and it's been cracked open and it's not open. Like I know people who are like, yeah, it's not opening up. Like they just don't like the term opening up. Fine. What it is, it's changing. It is changing it. So it kind of cracks it. And yeah, sometimes all it is it's just more roundness and boring on the inside. The rest of the time, but this time it kind of did open it a little and it's got this crispness and now some extra sweetness is coming through.
Crispness?
Crispness.
Oh. I was gonna say, what do you get? What's your definition of Christmas?
I mean, it is a little bit Christmas in some ways because it's got that sweet herbal, minty. Because I'm getting a little bit of mintiness from it too. Kind of leafy.
I get what you're saying.
It's not really like it's got a strong finish, but that tannic is from the back palate kind of clings to the top and is just lingering there. It's
kind of just
surprising considering it's a much lighter
finish.
Yeah, like it's interesting. It's weird, but in a good way. I like weird. Weird is good, and apparently Austin is known for being weird, and that's where I'm headed. So I'm keeping it weird.
We like keeping it weird around here. Yes. I'm the one that I was happy today when they said, we got a funky barrel. Who wants to taste it?
Yeah, I think you were first in line.
Yes. Yes. Can I please try your funky barrel? And it actually was really good.
Yeah.
Like it was a good kind of funk. It wasn't like, but I always like to, what do you mean by funky? And let's see. So
yeah,
we're gonna keep it weird. Right. We like keeping it weird.
I'm not gonna connect my dots on this one because you said come back. So I'm gonna not. So what? So
did you guess like a proof on that or anything on
like that one? That one it feels lower. I would say sub 50% for sure. Probably even sub 6. I think it's heavier than a 40% though because it actually took the water well. Like it didn't fall apart. It didn't collapse. It actually did have some changes that were quite interesting that happened, which I find quite often with a lower proof whiskey just doesn't come through the same way. Yeah. Like it doesn't usually, if it's under 46%, it usually doesn't take water well, in my experience. There are always exceptions, but
there are a few exceptions. So I've met a couple exceptions, but yeah, and it doesn't necessarily take water well, but it also doesn't always take ice well either. So
yeah,
there's some exceptions though.
So this one I'm feeling like it's a rye. I would even hazard to say probably fairly high rye, even if it's not 100%. I would put it in a 90 to a 95, just based on what I'm tasting, just because it didn't get a lot of sweetness. It did. The water gave it some sweet, but it was, I don't know. I'm curious, but I am still kind of feeling like it's a rye. So that's my guess on that one.
Okay.
I don't know if I would say it's probably not like a Dad's Hat Pennsylvania rye, but it could be more West Coast.
It's not that pickle rye.
No, it's not a pickle rye. Like it was.
That's one thing that I pick out immediately on those East Coast ryes, and even some Kentucky ryes that have that pickle.
It's a little. It's herbal and a little minty, and it's got a freshness to it.
I like a fresh rye when that's what it is. I like a spearminty with the black pepper.
We had a really good one today though.
Yeah, we did. meow we did. That was really good, and I can't wait until that comes on out in a bottle form. Like, there were several of them that I was like, do you have any empty bottles that I can just thief some off for myself, please?
God,
I have to wait. Weird. This is weird.
This one's again, we're into a really dark, like this is deep copper, this is amber, this is good. But it's so in terms of clarity though, it's still clear. So one of the things that will happen, usually it's something that happens over time, is as the proof drops, things start to come out of solution. So an older bottle, something that you've maybe had around and it's been sitting in just like the bottom for a little bit, there's lots of oxygen or air that gets into the bottle itself. You might start to notice a little bit of cloudiness starting to enter into the whiskey. So it's probably just that it's would be an older bottle, or it could be something that's lower proof. Pardon me. Something else that I do look for when I'm doing this is I look for sediment. So sometimes you get really lucky and you end up with flavor crystals in your whiskey, which means, to me, I call it flavor crystals. Really, it's just little bits of charcoal that actually don't taste like anything, but they have whiskey in them.
Yeah,
we had
some
cool.
flavor crystals.
We had some flavor crystals
and some of the pulls today.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just you'll see little specks of something on the glass, and it's just because maybe they haven't done a heavy filter on it,
right? Which
I kind of appreciate, right? It may tell you a little bit about the principles behind that whiskey, right? You might be looking at something from a more craft producer as opposed to a commercial producer, right, which is really going to go for a super clean. There may be chill filtering, all those kinds of things, right? Just to keep things as pristine as they can. This is changing nicely. I'm feeling like this could be an American single malt. I don't know whether that's just because I'm process of eliminating it down from bourbon to rye to single malt. Oh yeah, this still, now that I'm getting a little bit of almost a slight dill on number 2. Oh, yeah? Number 1, after smelling this one and then going back to it, all of a sudden I'm like, oh yeah, that really pushes the herbal on it. So go from that one to number 2. And it feels more herbal. And number 1 feels more candy. But this doesn't really smell overly malty. Like it's. She's gonna I'm gonna be completely wrong on like 60% of this. There's 6 whiskeys, so that means that 3.5 of them I'm gonna be wrong on. Is that possible? Is it possible to be 60% wrong out of 6 whiskeys?
60% of the time, I'm right.
All right, I gotta get the whole.
You gotta clear.
I gotta clear
the nose.
Yes,
out
the nose
and
holes.
This one, I'm just
living for the nose. Now I'm getting floral.
Did you put water in this?
Yes, just a little bit. Almost like rose, and
I'm gonna probably have to go back in the other room and pour myself some of that. That's the only hint that you'll get on that one. Right. It's not from out here.
It's not from out here. All right. So getting a little bit of some floral bits. Just I've got feet warmers now.
You got a Loki.
I got corgi slippers. Oh. This one's interesting. I'm having a hard time kind of getting it to access for me.
To access.
Yeah.
that glass.
Mm.
That's a delicate glass. We don't want to lose that glass.
Mm. Now I'm getting a grassiness on the palate. And this one, I would say it's still got some of those tannins coming through, but it's presenting more as that tobacco and less as the leather.
No, you don't.
Some vanilla.
I like this one. I'll just get it. You keep them entertained.
All right, I'm keeping you entertained. Oh, and there go the puppy power. All right. So I lost my feet warmers. That's no fair. No fair. It's got a really nice body to it though. So I didn't really say too much about the viscosity on this one. It didn't really strike me as being overly heavy when I was looking at it, but it's got some clinginess to it, and it's definitely sitting nice and rich on the palate. Mm. All of a sudden, I'm getting a light tropical note almost from it, which when I get those tropical notes tend to come from an ex-bourbon cask. In scotches and those kinds of things. But this, I would definitely not think is a scotch, but I'm almost wondering if there is some used oak involved in a finish on this, perhaps.
Are you still on 3?
I'm still on 3. I just added some water, which is boosting the grassiness.
Boost it.
Boost.
Hey. Stop it.
It didn't really change the flavors a lot. It maybe opened a little bit of those fresh fruit notes, a little bit of berry sweetness in there, usually associated with virgin oak. So I would still kind of say I am leaning, and like I said, I don't know if it's just my brain trying to say, oh, well, she wouldn't give me 3 bourbons. But then I'm like, she could be really evil, and she might have given me 3 bourbons.
I mean, I did want it to be challenging, but I didn't give you 3 bourbons.
Yeah, that one, the more I go back to number 2, the more I feel like it's rye. Unless number 3 is a real outlier, I'm feeling like it's an American single malt. And number 1, the more I go back, ooh, that's like shreddies and strawberries now. Number 1. Ooh. I'm liking that number 1.
You put water in this?
I did, just a few drops. All right. Moving along. Number 4. All right. So we're getting into something a little bit lighter here. It's kind of caramel gold. Again, pretty clear, so not looking at any faults that way.
Looks like hay. It looks like hay.
A little hay-like, yeah. And I mean, it's not super heavy, but not overly light either. It's got some good tears. It's not really over. Oh, that's like raw bread dough. I don't know what this is. I'm usually when I get this, it's some sort of it's got some wheat in it usually, but I don't know. Very doughy, which is kind of leaning me into maybe an Irish.
Gotta keep reminding myself of what I poured. Well, I literally like scribbled and poured and scribbled and poured and scribbled and poured. So I'm like, what was it again? Oh yeah. And then as you're describing them, I'm like, okay, okay. Going to see if I can find what you have described versus what I know, what I remember from it.
But like, I don't know, smell that. It's not sweet the way that the other ones are sweet. There's definitely, like, this does not have that virgin oak cask. So, of course, with your American whiskeys, when
Smells good.
It does smell good. It's just such a different way to go on it, right?
Yep.
So American whiskeys generally have to have a virgin oak aging portion. So it's this one, that's usually because it's freshly charred, it's all that. It does a lot of color transfer. There's a lot of flavor transfer that comes from that. That's where you get some of those really heavy tannic, wood, oaky, smoky kind of elements coming from. And this is completely different from that.
No.
A little bit of an apple maybe in the background there. Now, of course, one of the things that also happens is that as you sip something and then go back and smell it, you get different aromas. So it's always good to go back and forth, not just comparatively, but also, to get what you can from the nose.
Hello, puppy boy.
And then to sip. Mm-hmm.
To chew.
Mm-hmm. To chew, perchance to blow bubbles.
Oh my.
Shakespeare, I am not.
No, me neither. Furthest thing from it.
Sweet. It's pretty light on the palate, almost creamy. I'd say it's fairly low proof, partly also because even though, like, when I look at the tears, there aren't a lot of tears. Even just looking at the glass, everything is beading on it. And then when I'm tasting it, it really does not feel like it's coating. I mean, there's still a creaminess to it. I would say it's probably some sort of a grain whiskey, probably column distilled. It's sweet, but there's also a base note in there, something bitter-ish, not really like, almost like it doesn't have a citrus, but almost like orange pith, like that. Okay. But it's not like a, I don't know. I'm not really good with the bitterness. It's not a wood tannic bitterness. It's more of that pithy bitter. Now, does anybody else understand what
she's saying? I get what you're saying.
All three of you. Now, there's a few folks that are in there seem to be watching. They haven't said anything. So if you're here, have a comment. You can totally like say, throw some guesses in there too, except unless you're Will, because Will just keep that. You know what's in the house, so it's
Will
not there.
also knows what's on the piece of paper now.
So he's not guessing if he throws something out there. This one I would say it's either, I don't think it's sweet enough to be like a Jameson's Irish, and it's not candy corn enough to be Crown Royal, but I am leaning
towards Canadian.
I was thinking it could be Canadian. Just like I said, it's really striking me as a grain whiskey, a low proof, probably very core line. I would say probably 40%. Not a ton of flavors kind of standing out as anything specific. Yeah, like I'm getting some vanillins. Everything feels really muted and light. Even like there's a cereal note, but it's nondescript. There's maybe some old wood notes, but not like fence post old wood, so not a super aged whiskey. But just used oak. So we got a question from Taste and Sensibility. Is the whole range of world whiskeys on the table, or
no? It's not the full range.
Okay.
I mean, there's only 6 whiskeys here.
Right.
There's a Scotch.
Okay. Well,
there's a rye. There's an Irish. There's bourbon, and that's all I'm gonna say.
Since like it's really thin, and I'm hesitant to add water to this because I got a feeling that it's really not going to do anything to it except make it more boring.
Oh my God.
And this is probably going to be like the 35-year-old, Cooley or something.
I don't have 35-year-old Cooley in my house.
I don't think 35-year-old Cooley exists because when did they form? When like?
Oh, I forget.
It wasn't until the 90s, wasn't it?
Yeah, we. Huh?
She's on 4 or 5.
4.
She's on 4.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that's why I cracked up.
I was so expected to come in here in it being what I was thinking it was.
Like I said, I'm going to be like 60% wrong on this.
But that's okay. That's the whole point in the
it is.
It
It is.
of, helping you. And then you're going to find out what it is. And you're going to go back and be like, oh,
Right.
Okay.
Exactly. And part of the thing is, and that's where even when I don't know what things are, and even when I can be way off base in terms of what my conscious brain is telling me, when I go back and I compare those notes against previous notes from either the same whiskey or the same distillery, I can see that I've got all of the markers going in the same direction, and I'll have a lot of those same notes. It's just that my brain is interpreting that
a different way. Right.
And so there have been things that it's like, oh yeah, I'm totally getting marshmallow note. I usually get a marshmallow note in very young whiskeys and moonshines. So I'm going to guess that this is a really young thing. And then, 25-year-old, something or other.
Drinking. The hiccups. I don't know how, drinking all day, whatever.
Oh.
We've been drinking pretty much all afternoon into the evening. So, yeah. And it's like the same for me with my markers and whatnot. I have my specific markers for specific whiskeys. Like if I smell Flintstones vitamins, I know there's Dickel in this. It's one of those things. I just know because that's the only distillery that I have ever found Flintstones vitamins in.
Right. Well, and yeah, like Will said, we did start with some breakfast whiskey.
You did.
I started. No, right.
I had one.
You had one.
I had one because I had to try the Irish rye.
Right.
So.
Okay, so this one again, we're back into something that's a little bit darker here. It's clear. I mean, it smells floral. So far, I haven't gotten anything scotchy from any of these, but we're gonna.
That's just because I'm a Somm and I know how to treat your palate.
Apparently.
Because that's the one that you're guaranteed to get right. I know for a fact.
Right.
Just because I know you.
Yeah, that's gonna be the one that I totally get wrong. All right. I can be.
Don't do that.
One, again, this one, we're getting back into some heavier territory, I think. This one could be an age thing.
Them dogs. They got to be up the cat.
Oh, yes.
Of course, the cat would be up here if we had the bacon, but William worked today. I didn't,
Yeah, that is one of the things. Like
I know.
We don't have bacon.
That's William's fault. Oh.
No.
Did you hear that?
I can't. I shouldn't say that because he did feed me some very nice whiskeys for breakfast.
He did.
Yeah.
Breakfast whiskeys or
Breakfast whiskeys.
brunch whiskeys. Them's good whiskeys.
It is. And brunch whiskeys versus dessert bacon.
Well, technically, in this format, it would be palate cleanse bacon. Because, it's the best palate cleanser. So it was funny today because we walked into this bourbon women's thing that they had going on, and all of these ladies are back in the barrel room, and we walk in, and Marcia makes this big to-do about us being there and introduces us, and we're the ladies from Whiskey and Lipstick, and there were ladies there that knew us, and that was really awesome.
It was actually.
But one of them actually asked me if I had purse bacon because they apparently watch Whiskey Crusaders as well. Yes. And unfortunately, I did not have purse bacon. I was very kicking myself. Why didn't I have William make me some bacon yesterday? But last night we did have a busy night as well. We were out until about 15 minutes before Theresa got to the house. So it's been a busy weekend so far. But no, usually William has the pocket bacon. I'm not known for really carrying bacon around in my purse, but maybe I need to start.
Maybe.
Especially if I'm going to a liquor store or to a distillery and I don't have William with me. Somebody's got to carry the load of the covering the bacon, right? So what are you getting from this?
It's hitting me as pretty earthy. Like I'm getting some hay and herbal and almost like a forest floor is one of the ones that I'm kind of getting from, a little bit of decay that way. I was getting almost like a light sulfury. I almost was thinking, and I don't know whether that was just my brain trying to come up with different things that, to make it different than something else that I've had.
Okay.
But part of me, it just smells good.
Yeah.
So going back to some of that comparative.
Sitting there for a little while, opening up. You got to remember that as well. The longer your whiskey sits there, the more it opens up.
It's going to change.
Kind of aerates and whatnot and changes as it's sitting there.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Though I do not recommend drinking a whiskey that's been sitting out all night.
The caveat being, the higher the proof, the longer it can sit.
Right.
And I actually had a friend who was like, yeah, I poured this whiskey the one night and totally forgot that I had poured it. And it was cask strength. And when I came back to it in the morning and tried it, it tasted amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had some that have been sat in the glass before and they did not taste great in the morning. Now, if you do get yourself a little coin of some sort, fits over your glass like so, kind of keeps it from getting too aerated. On that note, Whiskey Crusaders has their own coin with the bacon, of course. Gotta have the bacon because you're not Whiskey Crusaders without it.
This has got like an odd, like a Granny Smith apple note, kind of tangy.
That tart.
Yeah, and it's kind of hitting that mid palate. It's got a lot going on. Again, it's got a decent texture. It doesn't taste super heavy in the mouth, but it's also not really hot. So I would say that it's probably a moderate proof.
And I'm gonna be 100% honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't write a single proof down on this piece of paper.
Okay, well, you're gonna have to go and look at the bottles.
Uh-huh.
Either that, or we're gonna need the assistant to go and pull all of the bottles so that we can line them up after everything.
Hey, assistant. He's coming over to grab said cups and take the sniff. Like I've been doing the whole time.
Mhm.
Because
That's got a mustiness. That I'm getting.
hey, where'd you go?
Oh, I need to get purses.
That is.
Just this one.
That is feeling musty.
Just the other one.
Not quite.
What
Uh,
are you doing? Why are you trying to take my book?
well, so that he has the list, so he knows what bottles to bring out.
I got some of them out here too, so
It's almost got like a. I mean, it's sour, like pucker power sour. And I mentioned the old fence post. This has that a heavy wood element to it, but it doesn't feel like virgin oak wood.
Used oak.
It feels like old wood. And sometimes old wood is good wood.
Old wood chip.
Yes, like it's there's some funk. It's kind of lingering. I feel like there's a lot here. I don't think I've added water to this yet, so let's.
I haven't seen you.
No. Like I said, I want to.
Boo. Empty glass is a sad glass.
Oh well, here, close your eyes and I'll grab something off of the back and pour it into a glass for you.
Pour it into this one.
Pour it into that one. All right. I can pull anything that I want.
You know what I don't like.
Okay. Well, no, I wouldn't do that to you. You got samples here.
Ooh.
Let's see. Ooh. I'm gonna open this one because I kind of want to. I wouldn't mind trying some of this myself at some point. So. All right, there you go.
Okay.
I didn't show the people's what I
right
no.
into the like light with my eyeballs that were just mashed.
All right, I added what? Oh, now this is getting a little toastier on the nose. I have my slippers back.
Oh, hey there, Weasel. Oh, you do have your slipper.
Yeah.
Just the one.
Just the one.
I
got the foot warmer.
Is on
Okay.
Thor.
No.
You can see Thor?
No.
Yes.
William can.
Oh, William can. Oh, there. I can see Thor.
They're about to.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put the puppies up right now.
You gotta love dogs.
Teresa, I think Loki is getting a little
He's possessive.
Possessive of Teresa over here. He's like,
Yeah.
this is mine now. She's
Yeah.
mine, yo.
He's adopted me.
He's taking you into folds.
He is. All right, this has gotten a little bit sweeter. And that wood note is coming through, but it's coming through as something fresher and newer, as opposed to the old wood.
Is that a one? Oh, Jesus.
A little bit more. No. There we go.
You're good.
That works.
That works.
I think that's actually better. It puts me in frame more. I kept like falling out.
You're leaning the other way.
I was leaning, so I was starting to lean this way.
Lean into me. It's okay.
All right. I am completely stumped on what that one could be.
Yeah?
Yeah, I am.
I'm fairly
I'm
100%
getting to that
certain it's
something. It's a whiskey.
5. Yeah, number 5. I'm fairly 100% certain that you have not had that before.
Okay. Well, it's a whiskey. That is my guess, and I am locking it in.
It's locked in.
Locked in.
And loaded.
It is a whiskey.
Mine is
Now,
2.
Is it?
Yeah.
Good. What kind of whiskey? Oh. Yeah, you said that one would be obvious, didn't you? All right.
Yeah, but the reason why I put it in there is because, one, I want to see if you can narrow it down to what
Right.
exactly it is.
Okay.
So you can tell the people what you already know.
It's peated.
Can you tell them what type of peat? Because there are several types of peats.
There are. I mean, it's definitely. On the nose, it's striking me as having a slightly salty element to it. So I would say it's either coastal, probably leaning into an Isla. Could be a Campbelltown, but it's not really striking me as a Longro or and definitely not a Glen Scotia.
And see, Campbelltown for me, I get this funk.
Oh yeah, Campbelltown. The Campbelltown funk is
Campbelltown funk, and I can pick them out like that.
Yeah,
it's
not. It doesn't feel like that, but it's not feeling initially like it smells meaty. And usually that's for me. That's Ardbeg Lafroig, probably one of those.
So meaty leads you towards what you listed as Isla.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Meat.
Wood and meat. Meaty wood.
Dirty.
Hey, we're all adults here, right? And we gotta have some fun.
And we've had a day. We've been drinking for a while. We drank last night. I drank beer last night.
Ew.
I drank beer last night.
Why?
It's cheaper at the bar to drink beer. You get a pitcher.
If you
I like beer.
And also for a little bit of nostalgia, because when we used to go to that bar in our 20s, and it was our stomping ground, and we were there every Thursday, closing it down, we'd go through so many pitchers of Shiner. It was just...
See,
yeah.
For the price of a pitcher of beer, you could probably have 2 really nice pours of whiskey. Maybe even 3.
For one person.
Well, yeah.
But both of us were drinking.
So?
I'm cheap when I go to the bar.
Fair enough.
Because I have this at home.
See, I don't. Yeah, that is true. But I would rather drink some basic stuff out of the well.
Yeah, I mean,
than
I think
to drink beer, because beer is just whiskey that didn't try hard enough.
Hey, it's Emily.
Hey,
cheers, friends.
Cheers.
Hope all is going well with you.
Oh, that's got a creamy vanilliness into it.
We're feeling pretty good up in here.
Yeah, it's definitely lighter.
I'm still trying to figure out which one of the bottles Theresa pulled from behind me.
Mm-hmm.
Is this still Austin?
No.
Is it bourbon?
Yes. Yeah.
It's warming.
Mm-hmm.
Did you pull a sample bottle?
I did.
It's
gonna make it. I know that.
Hugger, because I don't know how many of those that I've actually drank.
So
few.
This has. Oh, that's. It's got some markers that on the nose do remind me of the core line from the distillery, though it probably leans a little bit more into a slightly different direction on the fruitiness than what it would typically be from them. but that could also be because I've been doing all of this.
Yeah, I mean, again, we've been drinking all day.
Yeah, we've been drinking all day.
Palate fatigue is a thing, friends. And you know, there's only so much that you can do about that. When you go into something like this, you really do want to have yourself a fresh palate, but you know,
well, you need to be warmed up.
A little bit warmed up, but you don't want to go to Iron Root and drink barrel pulls all afternoon.
Yes, you do.
That's a little bit more than a little warmed up.
This is ashy. It's smoky. There's a bit of a slight medicinal tang in there, but it's more billowy. Okay.
Hi. Let's see.
Some fruitiness in there.
Should have cleaned my glass before I had you pour it in.
Oh yeah, there's that too.
But I had bourbon in it before.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely malt. You can tell there's a bit of a light apple-y note and vanilla note that comes through on this one.
This is fruity and sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Is this weeded?
Mm-hmm. Probably.
Probably, she says.
Well, given the distillery, yeah, it would be 100% weeded bourbon.
Knowing what I have down there, I know what it is. I'm fairly certain.
This has got a bit of a waxy walnut nuttiness to it.
It's called appetizers. Truly, they were truly like appetizers, Emily, because I mean, well, what she had we did stop in at Mirage this morning, late morning, almost afternoon, and she had some, we could call those to get your palate going, because they weren't any of the high proof stuff. They were warm up.
They were high proof.
Were they?
We had some cask strength, single casky things.
With William?
That Doc Swinson?
Oh.
It was like 50,
I didn't have that one.
57-ish, I think, or 55. What was it? Like 112 proof?
Whew, that smells. You're lucky I even poured it for you, okay? I touched the bottle. I opened the bottle.
I touched it.
Sorry, William. She laughs at 55%. You want me to go get the hazmat? Because
that was good. The hazmat was good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you tried that last time you were here.
I did. That was you poured that for me as soon as I came here, and that was and it was
tomorrow. Good. Tomorrow, when you have a fresh palate and before you leave, I'll pour you a little pour of that 5-year Iron Root, the Icor. Is that what it's called, William? Icor? I forget. I know it starts with an I. But they have 2 different ones that start with an I. But Jonathan was kind of surprised that I still had some of that in that bottle.
Right.
It's hidden up there behind our never before opened bottle 1 and 2 of Eleanor.
Oh.
Never before opened. Old school bottle style.
Original bottle style.
I
have
bottles.
one. So with the initial release of the Eleanors, I wanted a different one than the one that I ended up buying, because I accidentally clicked, and it sounds like I wasn't the only one who had that happen either. There was something that happened when you clicked on them that you thought you were clicking on something and it ended up being
something else.
The other one. And I mean, they're both excellent. I'd be happy with anything. It's nice to have an original Eleanor, but yeah. There was the other one. I'm like, ooh, that one sounds more my style. But
yeah, we'll eventually open them. But I mean, they've made it this long. Might as well just let them sit, and we'll open them when we open them.
Yeah.
There's some other Eleanors up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bottles of it, I believe.
Okay.
Plus a slew of them.
All right. So we're going back to the beginning now.
Okay.
All right. So, I mean, we've been at this for about an hour now because we got started a few minutes later than we had anticipated.
Is this Makers?
It is. It's this one here, SE4XPR5 for Sarra will.
That's from Eric Evanson.
Eric.
Mm-hmm.
He's good people, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
I don't know that I've met him, but I feel like he's good people.
Eric he's been down to the ball once. Is he in Wisconsin or in Minnesota? I forget which one, but he is the one that has sent all of the Kirklands for us to try.
Okay. Yeah.
Because we don't get them here. They are bottled here, Wisconsin. I was right the first time. They're bottled here. And like they come through distribution here, but we can't buy them here.
Right.
They are strictly Costco, and we don't have that here. We have Costco liquor stores, but they're attached to the Costco. The liquor's not actually inside of the Costco. It's its own separate building.
Yes.
Attached to Costco.
That's how mine are too. But they do carry the Kirkland.
Ours don't.
Oh yeah,
Ours don't. Even though it's like.
It's something to do with the
distributed
way
from out of Dallas.
Yeah,
it comes through Dallas.
I feel like number 6 is an art bag.
He is such a great guy. He's good people. We have met him once at I think it was the first Bastards Ball, maybe the first or the second. I don't remember if it's the first or second, but we did meet him once. He is way taller than I thought he was, but everybody's taller than me. So
okay, I'm getting a cherry note on this now, the number 2 that was not there before. Coming back to it after the peated, really so
that's why I put peat last.
Yes, and that's if you are building a lineup for a friend,
you really
or an enemy
want to do that. Well, if you're doing it for an enemy, put it at the beginning so that they can't taste anything else,
I guess. So yeah, it's usually best to put those really big flavors at the end because it can dominate. Now, the more experienced a drinker is, the easier it is to kind of come back and decipher between things. But because it's got that, I call it a base note, right? That smokiness, that heavy, oily, in some cases acrid. But when you go back to something else afterwards, all of a sudden it cancels out some of those base notes, pushing the sweeter to the top. So when you think about things as sort of having an opposite, sweet and sour, we feel like those are opposites, but bitter can also kind of get there. It's definitely canceling out some of that herbaceous side of things. I'm still, when I nose it, it's totally. I'm locking into it. It's a rye. Like if this is not a rye, then.
Can I ask some leading questions?
It's the voice of God.
Not yet. I don't know what rye that is, but it's good.
Is it an atypical rye? Or is it a rye down the middle of home plate rye?
it's feeling so. Like I said before, it's not. It didn't really hit with a strong dill note. It wasn't hitting as a like it didn't feel like a dad's hat style
Yeah, you said
Pennsylvania rye.
Monongahela.
No, it's feeling a little bit more, maybe a little more West Coast. I don't know that I would say like it's all, but at the same time, it's not hitting like a Alberta Distillers. Could it be a Whistle Pig? It could be a Whistle Pig, which is Alberta Distillers that's been, finished somewhere out in Virginia where it's, been able to age a little bit longer, right? Or they may have selected an atypical barrel, which the cask strength Alberta Distillers has more of that minty, dilly herbalness to it compared to the commercial, the standard release.
Awesome.
So yeah, it could be going in that direction. Which, if you were going to be really devious, she's totally devious. Because I'm from Alberta, because I'm from Calgary and ADL is in Calgary, for her to fuck with me like that and put in a Whistle Pig, I would not put it past you.
So
I've
also got to throw this out to you though, Theresa. You know us.
Mm-hmm.
How much rye do you think we have in our house?
Well, I know you have at least a couple because I brought you one.
You brought me one, but does that taste like the one you brought me?
No, it does not.
You would know that.
I would know that.
That's
one.
why I didn't pour it.
Well, that's why I assumed you would not have poured that one. Which is why I would not
want to pour that one for myself.
Well, you could totally pour that. We can do that in the afterdram.
It's in the closet. I had to put it aside because we haven't found it here yet. It's coming.
Hopefully it comes here because that is a good one.
It's supposed to be. It's supposed to have already hit our market as of what, September? Really? Yeah. Hasn't yet. It's not here.
All right.
Boo to that.
Number. I got it. I should have written on here. So there's 1, 2, 3. Okay. Hold on. 3. Damn it. Now I'm thinking that 3's a weeded bourbon. Because I'm getting Whistlers, but I mean,
3 is an incredibly complex bourbon.
It's definitely one of those ones that had.
3's got a lot going on.
It had a lot going on. I definitely plotted a lot of dots on that one. So I mean, on the nose, I wasn't getting a whole lot on the nose. The nose stayed fairly locked.
I plotted a lot of dots.
Well, okay, so when I say I plotted a lot of dots, like I plotted a lot of dots. I'll connect the dots later and anyways.
Dots.
All right. Number 4. I don't have much left. This one was again, it's just it tastes like raw. It smelled like raw bread dough before, and now it tastes like raw bread dough. And with light apple. Okay, so now it's got like this more like apple peel, like sour apple peel.
So green apples. Isn't that what you wrote?
No, that was the next one. That number 5 had the Granny Smith sour apple, baking apple. This has got like that tannic, bitter, sour apple peel, like just apple peels.
Okay.
That always leave a weird aftertaste.
Oh, I mean, we've got such palate fatigue right now.
No, I'm saying that whiskey has changed so much over time. It used to be
oh yeah,
such a thing, and now
very down the middle.
It's very down the middle now.
Okay.
Well, I think that bottle is at like half bottle, give or take.
Fuck me, now I'm feeling like number
She said, well,
5.
fuck me.
I've been you can't hold that against me.
Oh, and that's gone.
Oh yeah. Now I'm feeling like that one could have some rye in it. It's got something herbal, which I think was what I was getting with like I know I said herbal on this one before. Forest floor, a little bit sulfury. But now it's hitting like it could have some rye in it. I can't remember what I said I thought that one was.
We are really out this stuff tonight.
Oh, damn it. Yes. All right. And number 6, I have like all of like a drop left of this one.
I didn't want to steal all of William's peated whiskey, especially when he wasn't here to know that I was pouring it.
I'm getting a bit of a. I had indicated a bit of a light. I am thinking that one is probably. I know I'm feeling it's Lafroiger Ardbeg. Partly knowing what you have in the house, most likely. It's tasting slightly sherried, but it could also be a different cask influence. I don't think it's Lafroy quarter cask. I don't think it's quite leaning in that direction. It was heavier. I'm thinking it could be. I don't think it's Anoa, but maybe Corey or Oogie. I can't remember which one is the bourbon casky and which one's more sherry casky. But that's kind of the direction I was leaning in because it did feel like it had it to it, but then also the viscosity was a little bit lighter. So it could very well be something else completely.
I think we can start the reveal right here with you kind of nailed that one right on the head. That was
it's Corey.
Is it? Yay! I got 100% right. Okay. Yay! I got 1.
I think we can start with the reveal with that one.
Okay. All right.
That's Corey, and that's at 57.1%.
Okay. So, the viscosity on that one did
there.
not feel like that at all.
No, it drinks so nicely, doesn't it?
It does. It's so nice. It's just such a good. Oh, yay! I got.
So if we're starting at 6. Let's just go backwards.
Okay, hold on. Okay.
So you're number 5.
Number 5.
You were right on the right.
You have any final guesses? And you shut your mouth over there. You're not part of this live stream. You didn't pour any of this.
He's just too excited. Oh, now I got a kerosene note off of that.
Well, to be honest with you, we've hardly ever been on this side of it, and that's the one that's always given us the freaking line or the freaking line. So.
And he's the one taunting
and
you.
He always
you
always throws us off.
You're enjoying this whole taunting thing. Hey, Cliff.
Hey, Cliff.
Hey.
Any final guesses for that? William's already.
I mean, he's given it away as a rye. Like I said, I don't know that I could narrow it down more than that. Than to say I was getting a rye note from it. I was getting something very herbal. I did put an asterisk next to a sulfury kind of a note, so it could be a finished rye, or it could just be a real funky outlier.
Stop. If you have a question,
I'm not.
Yes.
Type.
Having way too much fun. Well, you know what, Cliff?
We had warm-up drams.
She had brunch whiskey, and then we had Iron Root post-lunch whiskey. And we're actually in the same room, and I can touch her.
Yes,
so it is excitement.
All right,
so this particular one is Lock, Stock, and Barrel It's
You
an
don't even let
18
me
year.
ask the damn question when you told me to put it in the fucking chat.
Oh,
I didn't know it was.
expensive, rye, or cheap. Oh, okay. No, I didn't see that. You got to be faster with
Gotta be
it.
faster.
All right, it's okay. It's okay. Lock, stock, and what?
And barrel.
And barrel.
It's an 18 year.
Okay, this is one I said old wood on.
Old
wood. I got rye and I got old wood. That's like 75%.
So this is a
Okay, and I've never had this before.
54.5.
18-year fuck. I'm saying
William,
fuck a lot tonight.
That's
By the
okay.
way. Is it? What's the rye percentage on it?
I think it's 100.
Is it 100% rye? Robust cult.
Let's see, 100% rye grain.
Jeez. American oak barrels.
Muchard, American oak barrels.
So okay.
This was a present from William's mom for Christmas.
Aww. Moms are the best. They really are.
Yeah. And so this is Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Produced and bottled.
Like I said, it had a funk to it that kind of started to come through. So
Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
hey, thanks. And
RJ Cooper and Son. Cheers. Glad to see you in. Remember the water.
where
It's right here.
Yes.
It's right here. I've been drinking it.
All right. Where are you in
That's
Canada, Cliff?
hilarious.
In Toronto or something? You gotta tell us where you're at. All right. So number 4. Let's me connect me dots. This is. It had a sweet bitter. This was the raw bread dough. I was thinking something wheated, perhaps, with this one. Yeah.
He's in Toronto for work.
Oh, okay.
When are you going to be in Texas for work again? We always like seeing Cliff.
This was the one I thought was some sort of a green, simple grain whiskey. And this is the one that you kept making that face. And I feel like I'm going to be failing my guess on this.
No.
Okay, what is number 4? Irish was one of my potential. I said Irish or Canada.
Irish or Canada.
But I thought Irish green. I did not get pot still from
Red
that.
breast, just the regular 12-year.
There's been so much flavor.
It has, and so this bottle is a little bit.
It is lower in the bottle.
It is a little lower in the bottle.
I'm just saying it doesn't taste like it did 2 years ago. It doesn't
No,
taste like it 4
since
years
they
ago at all.
rebranded.
Can you do me a favor? In my room, in the polka dot bag,
Yeah.
I've got a burgundy binder. It's the one with all my notes. The
one she whipped out
Yes,
last
the one I
night.
pulled out last night. I whipped it out. I whipped it good.
Oh, Cliff, we were at Iron Room today.
We were. I bought a sweater. And whiskey.
I wish we would have known. We could have picked them up for you, so you wouldn't have to worry about them stop holding them.
If only we had known.
Well, let me know on the timing on that. I don't know how long they actually hold them for, but if it is coming up on the time, we can make a trip up there for you, man. It's an hour and a half, and it's always a good day to see the licorices.
So this was
Red breast.
Well, but what? Okay.
And that is at 40%.
Okay. All right. Where is? Great. So one of the whiskeys that I needed to prep for with number 4 with Somm 4 was the standard Red Breast 12. Oh, actually, I don't need to do that. It's going to glare if I do it in the plastic. So I'm going to do this. So I'm curious to see, because I know I didn't plot out a whole lot. How much of this?
And also keep in mind palate fatigue.
Yes, at this point we're in palate fatigue. However, so
You did get,
basic shape triangle.
Yep.
Basic shape.
You really
triangle.
did. You got,
I picked out
that's a booty, you got the
sweet.
wood.
Oh, I had sweet and sour. I've got sweet and bitter, and both of them were fairly muted. Creamy, light. A 2 to a 3 on the proof, a 2 on the proof. 3 on the finish, 2 on the finish. I said medium has been my experience. This one felt low on that, but with it being that low in the bottle, it doesn't surprise me that it's
it is
lost the vibrancy.
Bit, yeah.
I did get the cereal notes.
Yeah, see, that is proof of palate fatigue right there.
Yeah,
you didn't circle nearly as many things on tonight.
So yeah, so this is tonight's
opposite.
There we go, bringing it up, and that is tonight's angle. Again, though, gold, clear, no to light, and that could be a bottle thing. I said a 3 on the legs, 2 to 3 on the legs. So this is my previous one. So you can see same basic shape. I'm getting a bit of a triangle hitting those same basic zones. So that's good. And hitting some of those same things. It's just the way that it's hitting, it's just very muted. So that's actually makes me feel, we talked about this at the top of the show. I'm feeling not so terrible about that one. And Irish was,
I do saying Irish,
and
then I was making the
guesses.
face because you kept on going to something else, and I'm like, no, you're so
close. But I did feel like it was a core line offering, Irish or Canadian, something grain based. I just did not get from that. So, all right, number. Oh, no, get that number up there, down to there. You connect the dots, and what that connecting of the dots does is it creates a picture of what that whiskey tastes like. And so when you're comparing across styles, you can look at what the picture of that whiskey tastes like. So when you get that,
pull and make them translucent and or transparent and lay them over each other to see like Scotch versus bourbon versus
exactly. So you get those people who are like, I'm a bourbon drinker and I want to get into Scotch. I like Jeff. Okay, I can
what does Jefferson's have?
What does Jefferson's look like?
Versus what Scotches might match up.
Exactly, and so I can go and I can look at the picture. It's because reading through notes, notes change. But
when you can't take the notes from the distillery, you just can't because they might have some of those notes, but they want to market it a specific way. And so they're going to stick to just these ones that, okay, you really like sweet. So there's a lot of brown sugar in this. There's a lot of vanilla in this. And they're going to stick to those things to try and use them as a marketing.
And they're going to get all of the people. Oh, that got chocolate now. Okay. Sorry. Which is making me think that it's probably that it's a malt. That was my one that I thought was the American single malt of some sort. But yeah, you can, it just makes it easier to be able to go back and compare when you have a generalized picture of what those whiskeys taste like. And it's funny because I've had people who have asked that question. I've gone back through my notes, I've compared, and then I start to read through it. And it's like, yeah, totally. I would absolutely recommend that if, you like this bourbon, you're probably going to enjoy something in this range for your scotches, or vice versa. If you like Glenfiddich, then you need to be going and trying X, Y, or Z on this side of the scale. So, yes.
Right. So yeah, just like William just said in the chat here, that number 3 for you has kept on changing. And there is a very big reason why. I think that it keeps on changing. And I think once you learn what it actually is, you're going to be like, oh, that's why.
Right. Okay. So.
You mean guesses? I think you've guessed just about everything on that word.
Back and forth on it. It's got a sweetness, but also a bitter that balances it. I didn't put a lot on the nose because the nose was really elusive, but the palate kept evolving each time I kind of kept coming back to it. A little bit of the water, changed it again. Aside from saying, I think you probably put an American single malt in here, either that or you put 2 bourbons in, because I would guess either bourbon or malt, but it really felt richer than bourbon.
Okay. This one is the Joe Mag cigar blend.
Which
That's
is like
why
a
it's ever changing.
3 cask blend of some sort, is it not? Yeah, number 3. That's one I've never had.
That's a happy coincidence.
It is, and I've never had the cigar blend.
So this is a happy little gift that is still here from Cliff. And this one is at 62.15%.
I did say that this one was heavy and rich. It definitely had a heaviness to it. It full body, it did not drink hot though. So this one was full, but it was not aggressive, which is a sign of really well-made whiskey. When you have cheap whiskey at a lower proof, it can feel sharp and harsh. You can get a higher proof whiskey that is really good quality, and it just does not have that same aggression to it. And
He doesn't get to pour that one.
He doesn't get to pour this. Oh,
please, sir. They have some more. So, go ahead.
I got to tell you my Joe Mag story because I'm still kicking myself for this. The first time that I came for Somm 1, after I finished Somm 1, I went to Total Wine in Austin. I was looking around, and the lady that was there, we got talking a little bit, and she's like, I'm going to pour you something. And she poured me some Joe Mag, and it was the triple cask one. Yeah.
We finished that one.
Didn't we? Was so good. Like, it was astoundingly good. But it was like $80 for the bottle. $80 US. I'm Canadian. With the exchange rate at the time, that was going to put it over $100. I'd already been buying whiskey. I had to think about it. I was still in town for a couple of days. I came back a couple of days later, and they had a 100 ml mini bottle of it. So not even like a full Mickey. This was just like a double mini.
That's tiny.
It was for $20. $20 for 100 mils of Joe Mag. And I gave them my money. And I wish that I had dug deeper.
Gave them more money.
I should have given them more money
and bought the whole bottle. What is it in Canada?
What?
Do you have the regular Joe Mag?
We cannot get Joe Mag in Canada.
I need to talk
to
Nancy.
I know.
Get that shit up there for him.
We need it because it is that good. And actually, that mini bottle, I held on to it. I nursed it.
I remember.
And I killed that when you guys had Nancy on for your Whiskey Crusaders live stream.
I remember you saying that I'm pulling this out.
I'm pulling it out.
So you know exactly where a bottle is.
I know, but now it's $100 instead of $70.
I know, but you can't get it in Canada. So
really is the cigar blend. Is it I know it's straight finished in Armagnac, sherry, and cognac cask. See, as soon as you start finishing things, it really throws it off. And this is just done so beautifully, though.
I threw this one in for basic shits and giggles. I knew that you haven't had the cigar blends.
Yes. Okay,
and
so
I wanted you to have it.
Yes, I appreciate you wanting me to have. So, tobacco, leather, leather, toffee. No, I didn't say toffee. I didn't put caramel or anything like that in it. Armagnac finish, blah, 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 blah. It's very chocolate. Did I not just say that I got a vague chocolate
at the very end? You
at
did.
the very end, I just all of a sudden it came back to, I'm like, I'm getting chocolate all of a sudden. Getting all of the things and not guessing right. So
I mean, I technically put a bourbon in there, but it's a massively finished bourbon.
And
so I won't consider that just a straight bourbon. That was a Theresa just needs to have this. And Ben said, if you want it, grab it, eh?
Yeah.
So Total Wine is the main holder and distributor seller of the Joe Mag, the regular one. They always, every single time I've gone into a Total Wine, had it on their shelves. So,
and it's freaking stunning,
isn't it?
It is.
It is insanely amazing, and I still to this day thank you, Cliff. Yes, I am nursing this bottle.
All right,
thank you, Cliff.
All of a sudden I got something ashy, and I don't know if it's because we were just doing cigars and now I'm getting ashy on number 2.
Let's see, you're having some ashy.
But did we might have said that earlier too. I can't recall. We'd have to watch the replay. Yeah, there was one of them that we said, you said something about it, and then I was like, yeah, I'm now all of a sudden I'm getting
ashtray that's been sitting there for a while.
A little bit. But I was saying this one was the one I said was, I'm like, if it's not a rye, then I'm really bad at this.
It's not a rye.
Okay, I'm really bad at this. Oh, what is this one?
Oh, I thought you wrote down rye.
I wrote down. I put that. That was her note. That was her notes. We don't have a Still Austin rye.
We have a sample of it.
We have a sample of it someplace, but I wasn't gonna dig out samples for this. So this is Still Austin. This is a cast strength single barrel Total Wine pick. Cliff says the turn in your medallion.
It's a strange Still Austin story.
So hold on. Cheers, Ben. Thanks for jumping in for a bit and saying hi. This is 58% ABV.
It does not drink like 58%.
No,
I'm gonna say that because
why do you think it's been drinking so nice? We got this for Christmas.
Holy smokes! That is. So is it just super tannic then?
So Texas just has a way.
That's right.
With
fucking with
wood.
Yeah, Texas wood.
So, and this is aged at least 2 years. So at least 2 years in Texas, in Austin for that. Yeah, it could be 3 summers. And in Texas heat, that's gonna pull out a lot of.
That is one of the things
I feel.
Oh, it is. So I mean, you can get, and that's one of the things that in Canada, of course, the term rye gets thrown around very loosely. You do not actually have to have rye grain in a Canadian rye whiskey.
So weird
I mean, most, to be fair, there are only a handful now that will even do that. Most of them will not actually put rye on it if it doesn't contain rye. Most. The thing is, the chemical element that makes things taste like rye, you can get that from the grain, but you can also get that from wood. And the way that wood breaks down, it's the same. I want to say it's lignin, but that's not the right one. It's something else. And the Canadian whiskey doc, Dr. Don Livermore, has told me multiple times which one it is. I don't think it's a lignin. It's something else. It's like something A's. But anyways, there's an element that basically it can come from rye. You can also get it in the barrel. You can also get it in peat. which is why sometimes you have unpeated whiskeys that can taste mildly peated, and it's all because of the way that the cask is breaking down.
Cheers, John. So in your defense, this is 25% rye.
Okay, so high rye.
5%
Cask strength.
5% malt, 70% corn.
Okay.
Cask strength.
Cask strength.
Because you know me.
Yeah.
Cask
So
strength,
that means that our rye is the one I thought was a high rye bourbon.
You did.
And it's an
actual. We had a rye. We had a 100% rye. This is a high rye.
This is a high rye. Okay. What was
technically, I mean, it's 25% rye. So.
Which one? Oh yeah.
The lock stock.
Right. The lock stock was.
That was 100% rye.
Right. Okay. So what is number one? Because I don't have any of it left because I enjoyed it. But I did say high rye. I got some brown sugar, vanilla, also some herbalness, toasted new wood. What is this one? Oh, this is the single malt. I haven't opened that one yet.
This is the unpeated one.
I have it at home and I haven't opened it yet.
So this is a tiny bottle.
It's very little bottle. So that's the American single malt.
So this is the single malt of magnificence madness. Malt of madness just flows. This is 105 proof. This is made down at the Crowded Barrel. And this is the unpeated version because there is a peated version.
Yes.
And
I think I have both.
Well, we've got both too. I saw the bottle and I just reached in and grabbed one because we have a handful of these guys back there. And so I just reached in and grabbed one and was like, whatever one I grab is what I grab.
Right.
So, and honestly, this is the first time I've opened this one. I haven't. Have you had the unpeated one yet? I have the peated one.
Yeah.
It's made with Irish peat.
Yes.
And I enjoy it.
Oh,
It's why I say it. I like Irish peat. I can do it. It tastes like roasted marshmallows. Smoky roasted marshmallows. Hey, John he's enjoying some Balvenie sweet toast.
All right, so this one is malt. Damn it. So malt. I thought bourbon, rye, malt, and malt, bourbon. Damn it. Okay, now I got to go back into this one because
and this was
that
batch 3.
Okay.
Batch 3.
See, the barrel tannins are still like that. That smells like it's got some rye in it, and I know it doesn't because it's the single malt of magnificence. It's 100% malt.
So,
I'm not getting malt from that. So. Okay,
and this is aged in new oak.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
which I mean, I got that part right.
They might have been, William. He said those were the small barrels.
Yes, it definitely, like I was getting those tobacco and leather, that tannic element, the new wood. Oak. It definitely had a super toasted. It's got that fruitiness though that I was attributing to the virgin oak, but
it could
within the context, it could be that the malt part of that as well in there.
And then again, you throw it in Texas, and you just sometimes don't know what is going to happen when you throw it into Texas heat.
You just don't. Yeah.
No. So I really enjoyed that one. That was the first time I've had that one. And
I drank down that sample to like the almost the bottom before I even got to the end of number 2 because I kept going back to
like,
it.
What is this? What is this? What is this? Yes,
they made a good. They did a gooder. It's a gooder.
But I hadn't had this one either, and so when you were smelling yours and saying everything, I had to go get myself a pour back there. I snuck back there and got it. It was kind of glad I did. It's really good.
Oh, you're leaking.
Oh no! Why are you leaking?
Don't waste. No, it's small. You don't want to waste that.
Why is it leaking?
I don't know. Oh,
understand.
it's because it's stuck on the
Stupid seal. There it goes.
something.
Thank
like
you.
that. Yeah.
I don't even. So
That
yeah.
one, I did really like that one. I did really like number 3 because both of those disappeared very, very quickly.
Well, and I gave you a little bit more of the number 3.
Well, I mean, you had to because that one was so good.
In the initial
even
pour.
in the initial,
Because this guy's a small guy. I didn't want to pour it all in there and not have something
Yeah.
to go back to. Granted,
yeah,
this is how much is
it's
this?
a 50, I think.
It says 750 on there. That's a mistype. That's a big old mistype. Where's the rest of my bottle?
Do we send that to do we tell them,
You foobard.
they made an illegal label?
Totally made an illegal label. This says 750. Dude. Proof that.
Somebody was not.
Proofread that shit. Like, hey, I
You
finally
just-
got around to opening this guy and noticed that this is the 7. Where's the rest of my bottle?
No. The M stands for microliter.
Not cool. No, we don't. Like 750. No.
You got to send a shot of that to Daniel and say, so when's the rest of my bottle showing up? Totally don't do that because I don't want to fail before I get there. Because
You won't know it. You won't know that you're here.
okay.
Like, I'm totally gonna fucking do that, dude.
That's
I'll just
okay.
Leave that and I'll do that.
the
bottle shrunk when you brought it home. It was full size. Yeah, my 3-hour trip in the car.
That's why it's concentrated flavor.
Concentrated flavor.
It's
So am I
like the
supposed to, like,
Mios. Do you guys have Mio down here?
Yeah.
This
The
is
water
like-
additives.
Yeah.
Straight in.
You just that's what you do. You're supposed to add this.
So it's like those frozen juice things and whatnot.
Yes.
You used to.
Yeah,
It's from concentrate,
it's
so
from
I have to add a bunch of water.
You gotta add that to 700 and
700.
700 because it's a 50. So
700
700 mils of water. You
Oh,
add
I could
that.
just like drink that shit down and not feel it. Like if I plant this bottle in my backyard and water it, will the rest of it grow?
Oh, Cliff, you're on something.
Add it
You
to
add it to the
vodka.
vodka. Honey,
I drank the whiskey. Dude, Daniel.
Oh, that's what you send him. You text him the picture. You go, honey, I drank the whiskey.
Seriously, like, where's the rest? I'm kind
Where's the beef? Maybe that's a Canadian thing.
Nope, it's down here
Okay.
too. It's down here too. So we're rounding in on the 2-hour
We are.
mark, and
And it's been a really good
we've
day
been
of drinking
drinking
whiskey.
a lot.
It's been a really
Um,
fantastic day of drinking whiskey. I'm
As
like,
the hiccups keep on
totally
coming back to me, like
Oh.
I've been drinking or whatever.
repping my iron.
She's
root
feeling
beer.
herself up a little bit.
I am because
Why not?
Why not? Get in the spirit of things, right?
Things happen.
It's
And
whiskey.
It's whiskey. So I don't have anything in the glass to cheers myself out or anything.
Well, then I guess we
so,
need to pour something. Not the red breast though, because that kind of got disappointing.
you weren't very happy
No,
with
I was.
the red breast here.
Oh,
We don't-
let's do some good Irish now. See, I shouldn't say that because I do like me some red breast 12. Usually, it's usually
me.
thicker and sweeter and better than like that. It's just that needs to be killed.
that needs to be killed.
It needs to be killed. All right. Do I have a mostly? What was that? Was number 5?
So your red breast was 4.
Okay. That's. I mean, that's.
So I
basically
mean
a-
that's the thing.
that
That's
was the closest to
thing.
water that we had tonight. So let's.
Oh my god.
Sorry,
That's hilarious.
but it was 40%. It was the only 40% that we had tonight, wasn't it?
yes.
Yeah.
Everything else was high
In
proof.
terms of whiskey, that is the closest to water that you can get, unless you are not in a place that mandates 40%, which there are a couple of jurisdictions that allow you to proof to 35 on whiskey. Ooh. All right. Bushmills. This is some
And we
Irish.
don't. So
Oh, any Irene? Oh, Cliff wants to know, do you have some Irene Irish left somewhere?
I do. It's back in the closet, and that's one of those ones that is kind of hidden.
Babied.
It's hidden. Yes. Let's see. I missed
Yeah, good.
Good luck, Theresa. Not that you'll need it. You are gonna knock it out of the park, says Cliff. Yeah, she needs
Cliff
to.
is so sweet.
He really is. I love me some Cliff. She really does need to like just stop.
All right.
So,
shall we go out on a Raining Men?
it's raining. How do you like that? Is this the first time you've had that?
I think so. That is tasty. This bottle's down.
So Teresa's gonna keep us updated on how everything goes with Somm 2.
Yes.
So check out the Instagrams, the Facebooks for the
Canadian
Whiskey
Whiskey Smith.
And it's like magic.
Everybody was kung fu fighting.
So yes, we've had some drinks. So
We have
this goes here to replace
this one here.
that one there. I purchased that today because I knew we were almost gone. Anywho, she's gonna keep us updated, so keep an eye out
Thanks,
for
John.
her social media.
Yeah.
Everybody keep her in your thoughts. Fingers crossed. Drink some whiskey.
Yes.
You know.
Hopefully everything is as easy as that Corey.
There you go.
Because I got 100% on Corey Brecken. Everything else was 0 to 75.
I mean, you got some things.
I got some things.
So, and then on the Crusader side, I have absolutely no idea what's going on.
There are things because William was editing things. So there are stuff.
That was already released on Saturday. So tomorrow,
today.
not tomorrow, because we're not doing this on Sunday. We're doing this on Saturday, which kind of throws you off a little when you're used to doing it on Sunday. Monday, we are having a birthday stream for William, as he did just turn 40 on Wednesday. So everybody pour one out for that. So join us 9:30-ish on Monday for Whiskey Crusaders. And then I don't know what's coming out on Tuesday or on Thursday or on Saturday yet for our videos. I don't know. Whiskey Crusaders, check us out. We don't ever know what the fuck's going on until it happens. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, we're all there. Thank you to everybody who came and hung out. We knew it wasn't going to be a very lively show because it's Saturday and
it's
Texas Whiskey Festival is going on.
And the Bourbon Women girls are all at Iron Root sharing
driving
bottles.
home
Well,
or whatever.
they're having a bottle orgy right now.
It might be over by now.
Well,
because
we started at 8. So
yeah, it started at 8.
it might be done.
But yeah, thanks for hanging out. We'll hopefully see you next month. Talk about me wasting whiskey.
Well, at least this one you have another bottle of.
I have another.
I know it's alcohol. It's alcohol abuse. I'm sorry.
Lick it.
I should
No, don't do it. It's on paper.
scratch and sniff. Now I have a scratch and sniff.
She's got a scratch and sniff.
All right.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Thanks for hanging out. Till next time.